Simon, you're still in Cameroon. You've been there for just shy of a month. On the streets of Yaoundé, just describe what it has meant to welcome the rest of Africa to their home.
Well, Cameroonian people are incredibly proud and have been incredibly happy to welcome Africa to Cameroon. It's been a tournament for CAF and for the Africa Cup of Nations, which is carrying all of the usual problems, unfortunately, though, because very few people, in terms of their economic status, are able to attend games unless tickets are given out for free. So there is a disconnect between that pride and that happiness and having the stadiums full and, having a successful tournament. I think that, for example, stadiums for most of the knockout phases were not even a third at capacity for most games, which is quite disappointing, of course. But these, I think, are fundamentally socio-political problems that will have to be addressed by CAF, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But of course, whenever a nation hosts it, then it very much falls on the nation to provide the excitement, because the Africa Cup of Nations is very different to tournaments like the World Cup or like the Euros, where many people travel, have the ability, the funds to travel, and also it's a question of infrastructure. And President Patrice Motsepe brought that up in a question and answer session that we had with him, where he said that if the Africa Cup of Nations wants to move up to the next level, then it has to provide the infrastructure to do that, whether it be hotels, whether it be facilities. We tend to forget that AFCON has moved from 16 to 24 teams in the last 3 years. Egypt was the first edition, but that means that countries need to have more training pitches, more hotels that can host teams, more everything essentially to be able to do that. And at this moment in time, there are very few places in Africa who can do that. South Africa perhaps has that infrastructure. Cameroon now has that. The infrastructure has been built in the Ivory Coast, but it's not quite there yet. So hosting the tournament is a lot of pride, but of course it needs to go down properly. And I think for Cameroonian people, generally speaking, this tournament finished on Thursday night when they lost the penalty shootout to Egypt. But of course they were all cheering on Senegal with that overwhelming feeling I was describing earlier of wanting the Lions of Teranga to take that trophy home.
A brilliant final result there for the people of Cameroon, Simon. Well, I just want to stay with you very quickly, Si. Just in terms of that infrastructure that you were talking about, who does it fall on? Does it fall on the? Does it fall on CAF? Does it fall on the local organising committee? Does it fall on the government of the country itself? Who should we look to provide leadership?
Well, it's a mixture of everyone, to be honest, because CAF allocates funds to every federation in the country. And once again, funds reaching the proper person and not being misused is a massive problem in Africa. It's something that Patrice Motsepe openly said needs to be challenged and changed if CAF want to achieve their goals, which is in the short term to have Africa reach a Scandinavian type barometer of football, and in the long term be competing with European leagues and and the Euros, for example, in terms of excitement, in terms of TV audiences. So there's a long way to go, and you can see the ambition there. But of course there are things that fall outside CAF's jurisdiction, like security in a country, like a country being able to provide that infrastructure with the funds that are then given. So it is a circle. They are partnerships. They're always partnerships. Everyone needs to work together towards that. But what is key, Jean-Emile, is that the right decisions need to be made, and there needs to be consistency. Now, the Africa Cup of Nations in Egypt was in summer. It's now been in the month of January and February. In a year and a half's time, it'll be in summer in the Ivory Coast. In summertime in the Ivory Coast is the rain season. So is the Ivory Coast going to have pitches that can absorb that amount of rain? It's torrential rain, sometimes weeks of rain without stopping. Is that going to affect the quality of the football? Because we know that if the football's bad, then people probably won't watch it. So these are general decisions and points that need to be taken with consistency and need to be addressed if CAF and the Africa Cup of Nations wants to reach its desired level.